Hi guys, I'm really excited to share this interview with a female tech founder who created a scheduling app for Instagram that's been used by business people and celebrities across the world. So let's get into it. Hi guys, welcome to another episode of the Side Hustler's Handbook. I'm Emiley, your go-to girl for marketing and business tips to help you hustle smarter, not harder. So if you want more tips and interviews like this one, please click the subscribe now button and subscribe to my channel. So today I'm going to be interviewing Christy Laurence, who is the founder of Plann, a scheduling app for Instagram that's become so popular. I've been following her journey for the last year or so, and she's just gone from strength to strength. So in this interview, we'll be talking about all things tech, how to start a tech business, why she started her business, and what it's like to be a woman in the tech industry. Hi, Christy. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm so excited to have you on the Side Hustler's Handbook.
I'm super happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
You've had such an amazing journey so far, and I've been following you for the last year or so. I've used your product and I love it. And I am, just keen to hear a bit more about you and what was your journey so far and how you've got to the point where you're at now.
Oh, wow. It is really weird to look back and think, wow, that was my life a year ago, because literally everything is different down to, what I do in my spare time when I have spare time, to, what I think about. Instead of reading novels and girly magazines, I'm reading like how to scale a business or how to manage a scrum, which is complete opposite of my old life. So if I take you back a couple of years, I was working in corporate. And I was in the NRMA, IAG, which is NRMA Insurance, and about 5 different insurance brands. And I was flooding everyone's TVs with TV advertising and their social and crisis management. And I just felt like I just wasn't doing enough creative work. And I'm one of those people that doesn't really like watching TV. I'll just fall asleep. So I would come home and I would draw and I would illustrate and I would put my work on Instagram. And then after a little while, the marketing brain and the illustrating brain took over, and I was starting to sell more on Instagram and make more money doing that than my actual corporate job. I was like, And I kind of got hooked a little bit. It was kind of my first, okay. But I'd always been quite entrepreneurial. I ran webcomics, I did consulting and marketing. So I always kind of had that piece in my life. And I come from a family where everyone owns their own business. So it felt very natural. And then I started consulting, and this is when I was still working, and it started to kind of take over my life. So before work and at lunchtime and then after work, I was consulting while drawing and then doing commission work. And I felt to myself that I really loved small businesses, and I wanted to teach people that no matter what their talent or what their passion is, that there is a space for you online and you can make money. And so that was my side hustle. So Plann, the idea hadn't even been born yet. And I was like, I'm out, gone. So I put in my resignation. I just backed myself. I was like, something's going to happen from this. I'm going to manifest something. I'm going to be fine. And I just went for it. After about 4 months of consulting, I felt like I was repeating myself a lot. And it was all about how people didn't understand how Instagram worked, that it's not about putting your work into the world and saying, buy me. It's that storytelling and making people fall in love with you. And I wanted to build a product that taught people how to do that. And next minute, I am lying on the floor wireframing and watching YouTube and had no idea how to build a tech business at all. And that was 18 months ago now.
So you're obviously a creative, which is amazing. So why did you start to go down this tech path rather than focusing on your drawing and illustration?
I'm a massive nerd. So I was that girl that you would hire for any creative work. So if it wasn't building a website or a blog or creating writing or drawing, I was also a wedding stylist. So I felt that I have definitely the two sides of my brain, where it's a very analytical, very into the data and really nerdy, but also very creative. And I was that girl that mum and dad were like, you're banned from the computer. So I was always way into my technology. So when I had the idea and I mashed the two, creativity and nerdiness together, it was the perfect fit for me.
So what has been your biggest challenge when it comes to starting a tech business and building an app?
Not knowing what I was doing. So like, I was very optimistic. I thought, well, there's 2 million apps in the App Store. Surely it can't be that hard, but it really is that hard. And what it has taught me is I need, like, people just don't really have patience for tech products, which is quite hard because, I mean, with Android alone, there's over 10,000 devices. And I can't do the bulk testing for 10,000 different devices around the world. So one of the things that taught me was definite patience and to have a lot more empathy for people that build tech and be way more supportive of customer service staff. So that was one of them. And then obviously the mistakes that I made because I didn't have a technical co-founder or really anyone technical in my team, the mistakes that I made, hence the reason reading books about development.
Yeah, cool. I totally agree with that. You make the assumption that when there's an app that exists, it should be able to do everything you want it to do. You don't think about it being a small business that's created this thing and they're starting it as a, startup and trying to, launch it leanly and, minimum viable product and all those sorts of things. It's like you just think, oh, it should be able to do everything that I want it to do, straight from the start.
And it should, when I report a bug, it should be fixed within an hour. It's really hard because what you have to manage is the bugs coming through, the features you want to make, the performance and the usability. So I also act as product developer or product manager. And so I have to make those decisions of, do I annoy people by not fixing a particular bug that only 1% of people are affected by, or do I put in a feature, or do I change the design of something, or do I optimize for revenue because I need more money to pay for the staff? So there are some really hard decisions that I have to make. And obviously I'm never going to get it right 100% of the time, but hopefully it's paying off.
Are there any tech business models that you're trying to emulate, or are there anyone that you sort of looked up to or have a mentor with or anything like that?
Yeah, so I split my time between Sydney and San Francisco. So in the last 6 months, I have been probably living in San Francisco for 4 of those. So it's been nice to come home and put my roots back down. But the reason that I go is to learn from the product managers over there. So I'm doing, product schools, and being a girl in tech, there's not that much, there's not really not that many of us. So there's a lot of people that are happy to put me under their wing and help me. So for example, the first product manager at Weebly, he's been amazing. So he's one of my actual mentors. A couple of growth marketers and product at Yelp. So my business is what's called a SaaS product, so software as a service, which is a monthly subscription. So there's a lot of talk around, how to increase your revenue of monthly subscriptions to be able to hire more staff and get more features and build out. So I'm completely bootstrapped, which in terms is I've self-funded the product, where in tech it's almost unheard of to be in business for over a year and be completely self-funded because they cost so much money to run. For example, an app, people don't realize it's $30,000 to $40,000 a month just to run a business, and you don't just put the app into the app store and leave it. It needs constant updating. You've got new developers coming in. You've got to pay to store all your code. There's an entire piece of the business that I've had to completely learn that other people aren't aware of, especially in tech. So I'm pretty happy now that I'm in a place where I know a lot more than I did. And now I mentor on 3 different tech product programs in Australia.
Amazing. So how did you make those connections with people in San Fran then? Like, was it just cold email, or was it, did you have some sort of, relationship there that you could go off?
Kind of. So I met Julia Wells, who runs Founders for Founders, and I met her while I was teaching myself how to pitch through Elevaco. And she asked me to come and live with her in San Francisco for 3 months. So she gave me the most amazing base that I could live in San Francisco for 3 months. And she opened her network to me, and I did get to meet a few founders there, and they've become great confidants and, people I'm looking to partner with for the next 6 months, which I'm excited about. But the real hustling came from going to growth or product meetings or meetups. In San Francisco, there's 2 or 3 meetups every night, and you go there, and because you're not sure who to speak to, you just kind of have to speak to everybody. And then I'd go to co-working spaces, and then every couple of hours I would swap desks and talk to the next person to try and find out who was there. And I'd beeline for the speakers. I would, just try and reach out, contact them on LinkedIn, and then I'd take them out for lunch. And then next minute they're like, "Hey, Christy, how are you going?" So it wasn't just like a, "Hey, can you be a mentor" type conversation. It was more of a, "Let me share what I'm going through. Can I ask your opinion? And then, like, do you mind if I reach out again? Can you look at my onboarding?" And just Yeah, it was gradual. It's been, 6 to 7, maybe 10 month process.
I love that. That's amazing. Like you really put yourself out there and had the confidence to do so. You obviously believed in what you were promoting. What was the response like straight away? Like what were people saying to you when you first started reaching out to them?
What do you mean you have no tech experience? That was usually the first one. And then when they heard that I had, 400,000 downloads in 50 countries with no marketing spend, completely organically, they were like, okay, maybe I can take you seriously as a founder. So it was really great that I had a business that could talk for me, because I wasn't really about doing PR and I didn't really love putting myself out there that much. I'm a lot more comfortable with it now, but it was nice to have, here I am, and the app's rated in the top 1,200 in America right now. So when I do reach out to the mentors, having a bit of validation in the marketplace has really helped me as well. But I mean, it wasn't always like that.
So what would you say is some of like the biggest wins that you have from your journey so far?
Whoa. I'm Wow. Growing a team from none to 15 to 20 in a year has been massive. When we found out that MAC Cosmetics uses the app with 17 million followers was pretty amazing. And KFC New Zealand and the University of New York, like there are some really amazing brands that we just didn't know. And then when the likes of Jenna Kutcher, I don't know if anyone knows, she's an Instagram influencer who I met when she had like 30,000 followers, and we became, really good online friends. And now she's blown up and, 500,000 followers and growing this amazing business. And she has my back, which is amazing. And she talks about my product to her people, and I send her presents. And a couple of our other influencers have, from their Instagram following, have actually got onto TV, and now they're like, homeware people have featured and got their own TV shows in America. And when I go over there and there was one particular pinch me moment. I was in LA and I was doing a workshop on how to make your breakfast look good with Instagram. And I had someone come up to me before it started and said, "Oh my God, I've heard of this new app. You need to know about it. It's called Plann." And I almost died. And it was just one of those like, oh, amazing. So yeah, it's been really cool that I get to hire creative people. I get to pay creatives to be creative. I get to help creatives make money, or anyone really, but my heart does go out to the creatives who don't really know how to put themselves out there. So that's been amazing for me. And then Plann won 4 awards in 1 year. So it's been a really big year.
Christy, you've achieved so much in 18 months. My gosh. And especially since you didn't have that funding of, like millions of dollars to help with advertising, PR, staffing, all that sort of stuff. It's obviously a product that speaks for itself. Like you obviously created something that is so amazing that people just want to talk about for free, and want to get behind you and support you, which is amazing.
Yes, lovely. It's been so humbling. It's, yeah, really humbling.
Awesome. So, how do you keep the momentum going? So, obviously, do you work from home mostly or?
No, I have an office in Bondi Beach now, but that's only been 2 months. When I got back from San Francisco, I was like, right, that's it. We need an office. And I was kind of jumping around the city trying to find free Wi-Fi spots. And I had 2 team members that would follow me around and would cafe jump and whatnot. And then the girls, I don't know if you've heard of Glamazon app, Lauren and Lisa from Glamazon, they were saying that they had a space in their office free. So I jumped in there, and they have downstairs, and there's a cute little spiral staircase, and Plann HQ is now the mezzanine upstairs. So it's been really great that, more female founders, and we can talk about tech products and tech problems. So two blocks back from the beach. So it's pretty, I love it. I'm so happy.
So having an office must make you feel really legit now. Like you're a legit business with Plann HQ. I love that so much. How many people work for you currently?
In Sydney, we have 6, and then there's Brisbane. I have my marketing manager from Brisbane that comes down once a month, and then my backend developer from New Zealand that we fly over once a month. So it's kind of a rotating array of people, but we have staff in 9 countries to make sure we hit all the time zones. So customer service is actually one of the biggest challenges, because that many countries, and people, want to hear from us straight away to fix if something's going wrong or they need help if they're not sure how to use the app. So we actually have 2 expats that are living in Sri Lanka, to overlap both Asia Pacific and the US.
So good. So I just want to go back a step. You touched on the fact that you're in an office with other female tech founders. I'd love you to just talk about what your experience has been like so far being a woman in tech, and if anything's kind of come up for you in that space.
I try not to be too negative about it because it is changing, but it will be gradual. I have obviously had my challenges. I'm an unconventional tech founder. And for example, if I was turning up for a couple of events, the guy at the door might say to me, you're at the wrong place. This is a tech event. Or are you trying to sneak in? Or are you part of the events team? So I had quite a lot of that. And then, there's times when I check into an event and then I get flooded with unsavory images on my phone. And it does happen. And I think I try not to dwell on it, but I think that the female founder network, like, we have each other's back and we know how hard it is for each other. And there are companies that are, acknowledging that it's a little bit harder for us because for example, if something goes wrong with Amazon Web Service, for example, I don't have someone in my direct network, in my friend circle, that I can call and say, hey, can you fix my architecture? It's my server in this particular country is slowed down. I just don't have that in my network, where a lot of the male founders, they've got a circle of developers before they jump out. So just things like that. And so some of the companies, offering female founder discounts, or like Amazon were amazing with me. They actually brought me into their office and talked me through how to set up my architecture. And they spent an hour with me, 3 of them spent an hour with me drawing it up on the board to make sure I had everything I needed to be able to scale. So there are companies doing amazing things out there, and free event tickets and things. But I mean, I'm hoping it's only going to get better. I can't wait till females in tech isn't a thing. We're just in tech.
I love that so much. I totally agree. Like, while it's so awesome that, female empowerment and all this sort of stuff, it should just be people empowerment. Like, everybody should be supported and everybody should be encouraged to do something creative or something out of the box, or, create something amazing empire like you were creating, which is incredible. So outside of obviously starting a successful business, which has had this amazing success, which you've touched on, what else have you learnt from starting a business or starting Plann specifically?
How much mental space it takes to run a business. I didn't realize that my life would be completely overtaken. I knew it was going to be hard. I had that I was like, okay, it's going to be hard, but I didn't realize how hard. 16-hour days, 7 days a week for over a year. I got massively burnt out and I ended up in an ambulance, learned where my limits were pretty quickly, and understanding that you have to reach out for help. You just have to. You literally cannot do it on your own. And having that support network and people that you can call up and say, this is shit, just have a wine with someone that gets it has made a really big difference. Looking after yourself, like I didn't for my first kind of year. I just ate noodles and pies, and my stomach lining probably looked like plastic, and I didn't have any hobbies. I worked all night. I had problems in my own marriage. He was like, stop working so much. He just didn't kind of understand just how much was going on, because I don't think until you're in it, you see that. So to, take a step back and be like, all right, Christy, who are you as a person? And your self-worth isn't an app and how many bugs it has. And that kind of split for me has been something that I've massively learned. It took me a long time, but I feel like I'm not perfect, but I'm getting there.
So do you think there's any tactics that you could then, I guess, suggest for people starting a business, what they could do to kind of manage that work-life balance situation?
Well, I got to the point where I kind of forgot that I had friends. And my girlfriend's like, Christy, do you realize it's been 8 months since we've seen you? I'm like, oh, whoops. So now I actually have, this sounds really terrible, but I have a reminder in my calendar, like, message your friend today. And I just pick one person that doesn't work in tech or doesn't work in my business that I can reach out and just have a chat and just see how they are, because I do care about them. I just get completely swept up in what's going on. So it's just like making a conscious effort to do that. Have a hobby and make it really important that you stick to it. I didn't do that. I just, if I had a facial, I'd cancel it. Or if I had my own kind of events coming up, I'd just cancel it because I was busy or develop a problem. But now, like, I'm very firm about boundaries, and that, a lot of people are much better at me at this, but I'm getting there.
But I mean, it's probably because you've put in such hard work in the early stages that you've seen the success so quickly. And I think that's part of it. It's depending on what sort of balance works for you. And if you want to have a bit more of a balanced life, it might just take a bit longer to get to the same success level, you know? So, yeah, I totally agree with that. And I think balance is different for everybody. And I don't think anyone can necessarily say you should be spending this amount of time on your business. Every waking hour should be on your business, otherwise you won't succeed, which obviously is a message that's out there.
But I knew that. I knew it was going, like, I literally knew it was going to be hard. But for me, when I understood how many startups failed, just like over 90% of startups fail. And when I say fail, they just, don't make enough money to survive a bit longer. And it's not really a failure because you learn so much. And first time failed founders like the best people to spend time with. Um, for me, I just didn't feel like it was an option. And I was going to throw everything I had at doing this so that I didn't have to go back to corporate, that I was going to create a new lifestyle for me, that I could go swimming whenever I wanted. I could travel from my laptop. Like these were things that were so important to me that no matter what happened, I wanted that more than anything else, which was, to the manic OCD kind of founder perfectionist coming through. But that's what I wanted. And I chose to dive into my business and lose myself in there. And now I get to come out and, yeah, so that was my journey, but everyone's obviously different.
Yeah, cool. I love that you touched on that idea of values and working out what those key values are. And if your business isn't serving those key priorities or key values in your life, then yeah, you need to make a change. But if it is, then it doesn't matter what anyone else's normal or what you should do looks like.
The amount of people that were like, hey, are you still working on that app? Why don't you quit and get a real job? Like the amount of people that I heard that from, I was like, no, like there's something here, just leave me alone. So you just had to cut them out and just keep going. So my friend circle definitely dwindled. Yeah.
So how long do you think it was before you actually got that tipping point where you just realized that, yes, this is a successful business?
I don't know. I still feel like I'm not there yet. I know everyone, that sounds crazy, but I feel like that's a founder trait where, you climb the mountain and you're already looking for the next mountain. Um, it was when I think we got to 100,000 downloads and I hadn't spent any money on marketing and people were, emailing saying how much they love the product. And I was starting to hire staff and I was like, whoa, this is crazy. Like I just built this from nothing, from my spare room and my yoga pants. Like, is this really happening? And I think like when I started, so it was about 18 months before I was actually able to pay myself a wage as well. And then when I started to be able to take a wage, I was like, whoa, okay, cool. Because it had been a long time coming. And then 6 weeks ago, I actually hired my husband into the team. And now he works with me and we actually see each other less. But being able to, have the same goal, and he doesn't, if I wanted to travel to San Francisco, I don't have to go on my own anymore because he has no leave. Unless I decline it, of course.
Yeah, cool. That's so good. And then he's sharing the same vision, which is amazing as well. So he's not coming back at you saying, why are you working so much, Christy? He can actually see.
He sees, and yeah, and he took me out for dinner one night and said, look, I want to actually apologize that I was probably a bit hard on you because I actually didn't know how much work went in here and how much passion and love you have for this business. And now that I see it, I'm really sorry for not being as supportive as I could have been. And I was like, my heart melted. And he's actually working more hours than me right now. So he's addicted and he's hooked. But, startup life and creating a business is so exciting. And yeah, I think you just learn so much in such a short period of time that I wish everyone could do it. I know it's not possible for everybody, but one time in your life to start a business is pretty fun.
I love that so much. So where can people find out more about Plann or download the app?
So my website is Plann, so Plann with two N's, so PLANN, plannthat.com. And you can find us on Instagram at @plannthat. Obviously, I couldn't afford .plann.com. It's a very expensive URL, so we've gone for @plannthat. And we post tutorials almost every day about cool content creation tips, how to use the app better, how to grow your engagement rate. Not for us, it's not about your follower growth, it's about your engagement and making sales and leads. So we push that and teach people how to do that. And we post between 3 and 5 blog posts a week, to really, really help. You can find them through the app as well. And then we're currently working through all new videos to make sure that it's even more helpful.
So good, Christy. Well, thank you so much for taking some time out of your busy schedule to talk with me today. I'm sure everybody has learned so much about Plann, how to start a tech business, and you know, just believing in what your business is about and just keep pushing through.
Thanks so much for having me.
So Christy has achieved so much in just 18 months. It's phenomenal. But she worked so hard for it. She hustled every day to the point of her body breaking down, which isn't necessarily something we should be striving for. And I think that so long as you keep your values and your purpose of your business clear in your mind, you'll make sure that everything that you're doing is serving that purpose and won't lose sight of that end goal. If you love this video, please give it the thumbs up and comment below with Side Hustler if it's inspired you to keep going with your business and keep going with that momentum. So I release new videos every Tuesday on business and marketing tips and hints, tutorials, and interviews like this one. So stay tuned, make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.